Have you ever noticed that greatness seems to cluster in the most unlikely places? A tiny tennis club in Moscow that produces more top 20 female players than the entire United States. A rundown music camp in upstate New York that turns out a stunning number of world-class musicians. A small, humble gym in Brazil that churns out the world's best soccer players. Are these places built on a genetic goldmine? Is there something in the water, or have they stumbled upon a secret, a hidden code for unlocking human potential? Journalist Daniel Coyle traveled the world visiting these talent hotbeds to answer that very question. And what he found, as detailed in his brilliant and insightful book, The Talent Code, is that greatness is not born, it is grown. He discovered a universal three-part pattern for developing world-class skill, a pattern that is rooted in the deep science of our own brains. Today on Geeky Philosopher, we are going to unlock that code. This is not a story about magical gifts or genetic destiny. It is the scientific blueprint for how anyone, in any field, can build the skill and ignite the passion to achieve extraordinary things. Before we can understand the code, we have to understand the one biological substance that makes it all work, a fatty white tissue called myelin. Think of your brain as a massive network of electrical circuits. Every time you perform an action, swinging a golf club, playing a chord on a piano, solving a math problem, a specific circuit of neurons fires. Myelin is the insulation that wraps around these neural circuits, and here is the crucial insight. The more you fire a specific circuit, the more layers of myelin your brain wraps around it. And the more myelin insulation a circuit has, the faster, smoother, and more precise its signal becomes. Skill is not some mystical quality. Skill is quite literally myelin. It is the physical manifestation of practice. The concert pianist doesn't have a better brain. They have a neural circuit for playing the piano that is wrapped in a super thick, high-speed sheath of myelin. This is a profoundly hopeful discovery. It means that greatness is not predetermined. It is a biological process of building insulation around the circuits that matter to you. The question then becomes, what is the most effective way to build that myelin? This leads us to the first ingredient of the talent code. The first and most important ingredient is deep practice. This is not the kind of easy, mindless repetition we normally think of as practice. Deep practice is a very specific and often uncomfortable way of training. It is the act of operating at the absolute edge of your abilities, of struggling, of making mistakes, correcting them, and making new mistakes. Why is this struggle so important? Because it is the struggle that tells your brain which circuit to myelinate. When you are reaching for a difficult chord on a guitar and you get it wrong and then you adjust and get it right, you are firing a specific targeted signal. Your brain responds to that signal by saying, this circuit is important, let's wrap more insulation around it. Easy, comfortable practice does not build myelin. The struggle, the mistakes, the focused effort, that is what triggers the growth. Coyle breaks deep practice down into a few key components. First, you have to chunk it down. You don't practice the whole song, you break it down into the smallest possible chunks, a single difficult bar of music, and you master that chunk before moving on. Second, you must repeat it. Repetition, with intense focus, is what signals the brain to wrap the myelin. And third, you have to feel it. You have to develop an intuitive sense of what perfect execution feels like, so you can instantly recognize when you've made a mistake and correct it. Deep practice is not about the number of hours you put in. It is about the quality of the struggle you are willing to endure. Deep practice is hard work. It is mentally and emotionally draining. So what is the fuel that keeps us going through this difficult process? The second ingredient of the talent code is ignition. Ignition is the spark of motivation, the deep, powerful, and often unconscious burst of energy that says, I want to be that. It is the moment a deep, passionate commitment is born. This spark can come from many places. It can come from a primal cue that signals a path to a better future. For the young Brazilian soccer players, seeing their heroes rise from poverty to global stardom was a powerful ignition switch. It can also come from a sense of identity. The young musician who goes to the rundown summer camp is surrounded by other people who are just as passionate as they are. They develop the identity of, I am a serious musician. This identity becomes the fuel that gets them through the thousands of hours of deep practice. Ignition is the emotional engine of skill building. It is the love, the passion, the deep-seated belief that the struggle is worth it. Without ignition, the hard work of deep practice is unsustainable. With it, you become unstoppable. The question you have to ask yourself is not just how do I practice, but what is my spark? What is the deep primal motivation that will fuel my journey? So you have the struggle of deep practice and the fire of ignition. What is the final piece of the puzzle? The third ingredient is master coaching. A great coach is not just a cheerleader. A great coach is a talent whisperer. They are the expert who can watch you practice and give you the precise, targeted feedback you need to build your myelin more efficiently. Master coaches are masters of the specific. They don't give vague praise, they give targeted, high-leverage feedback. They won't just say, "That was a good swing." They will say, "Your shoulder dropped by half an inch on that swing. Let's do it again." They are experts at identifying the smallest, most crucial errors and providing the exact cue needed to correct them. They are the guardians of the deep practice process, keeping you in that sweet spot of struggle, just at the edge of your abilities. And great coaches are also masters of ignition. They know how to connect with each student, to understand their individual motivations, and to provide the precise spark of encouragement or the tough love that they need to stay committed. They are not just teaching a skill, they are building a relationship and fostering an identity. The Talent Code is a profoundly optimistic and empowering book. It is a scientific rejection of the myth of innate talent. It replaces the fuzzy, romantic notion of genius with a clear, accessible, and biological blueprint for greatness. The code is simple, but not easy. It is deep practice, the focused, daily struggle at the edge of your abilities that builds the myelin that is skill. It is ignition, the deep primal spark of passion and identity that fuels the struggle. And it is master coaching, the wise, targeted guidance that makes the practice more efficient. This three-part code is the reason for the talent hotbeds. They are not magical places. They are simply environments that are perfectly engineered to provide these three essential ingredients in abundance. The beautiful and liberating message of the book is that our potential is not something we are born with. It is something we build, one layer of myelin at a time. This book is a user's manual for building skill. It is a call to embrace the struggle, to find your spark, and to seek out wise guidance on your own path to mastery. If you are a student of skill, a seeker of mastery, and someone who believes that greatness is not a gift but a choice, then you are a part of this journey. Consider subscribing to Geeky Philosopher, where we are dedicated to exploring the ideas that help us unlock our full potential. Thank you for your time.